Hello, welcome to Maze Morsels. I have 10 days until the end of my summer break. So I decided that I would take the 10 days before I go back into the classroom to really focus in on classroom organization and getting things all situated before I went back into the classroom. One area that I really struggle with as a teacher is classroom organization of my space and my materials. So, like, even on my teacher evaluation last year, I scored um, I scored a 4 out of 5 on my materials, which includes like classroom organization and just kind of the flow of my classroom. I kind of have piles everywhere. Um, and then the second part was standards and objectives. I need to work on my students being able to say what they are learning. So, anyways, so I'm going to tackle the organization part of my teacher rubric because I do want to do better at that. It's just my brain sometimes does not work well with spatial things, and that includes like placement of like things in my classroom, but also like spatially organizing my day and the flow and what that looks like on paper. So, today is the 10th day before I go back to the classroom. So I decided I would start a to-do list. I don't normally do to-do lists. Usually it's just all in my brain, or I will put reminders on a calendar or go through my email inbox and tackle things that way. But I decided that I would try a to-do list. So I found these cute little notebooks on Amazon, and I am just going to get started. Um, Today I'm just going to talk through my to-do list with you. So I created a table of contents page, and number one says July to do. So on page one is my to-do list that I've actually started. So just the fact that I've written down everything I need to take care of is it's a major feat that I've accomplished today. So first thing that I need to do is I do need to email my special education supervisors because I am meeting with my ASL interpreters in a couple days. And before that meeting, I want to make sure that I have a bunch of things taken care of. But also, back in May, we talked about hiring another teacher to assist in my classroom. So if I'm having a meeting with my ASL interpreters and we're going to get stuff set up for my classroom, I would love to have, if there's any new staff joining my team, I would love to have them there so that we could just kind of knock out that one meeting and get to know the new staff all at one time. Instead of them starting, instead of meeting them later on. But if nobody's been hired yet, that's a moot point. But at least if I can email my supervisors to find out if they have offered somebody the position, or, that'll just kind of get the ball rolling for next steps if somebody hasn't been hired yet. Um, Next, what I need to do is I need to print and review all the IEP at a glances for my students. So if you don't know what an IEP at a glance is, basically it's like a short little snapshot of each student's IEP. And we use those to communicate um, the student's disability, the IEP goals that we're working on, service times, so the times that we're working on those goals, how long, and also accommodations for the classroom. So I need to get on our IEP program and print those off. I actually kind of started investigating some resources on Teachers Pay Teachers where I might create my own IEP at a glance based on some templates that some other teachers have created. But I'm still trying to figure out if those templates will fit um, how my students' IEPs are set up because they're slightly different, and I'm not sure if the accommodations will match up, or like one of them I already looked at. I had a space to put the student's disability, but some of my students have a primary and a secondary disability, and they didn't have a space for that. So I'm just gonna kind of investigate, but I for sure need to print off the district paperwork to give to classroom teachers. So then number 3 is to print the accommodations pages from the student's IEP because our new IEP program, when it prints the IEP at a glance, I can't remember which accommodations are missing. It might be the testing accommodations, but one part of the accommodation section of that document is blank. And so in order to make sure students get all of their accommodations, I'm actually going to just print the accommodations pages from the IEP and attach it to the IEP at a glance to make sure everybody is on the same page about what that student might need in the classroom. Number three, I started using, I think it's lessonplan.com to, uh, I'm going to use that this year to keep my lesson plans, got just to do lesson plans basically. At the end of last year, I just kind of was so overwhelmed. I just really gave up on lesson plans. I was still doing lesson plans, but it was all in my brain and I would just execute it. But I really need to be more cognizant and plan those out online. So I got on my Teacher of the Deaf Facebook groups, and a lot of the teachers were using lessonplan.com. I think that's the name of it. I'll put the link down in the description. So I did sign up for a yearly subscription to that. And so I need to figure out if there's a way to enter, like if I do each student as a class, if I can put notes in there, because I would like to copy and paste their goals and their accommodations so that if I go to lessonplan.com and click on that class or that student, I have access to all the information that I can quickly read over um, what I might need for that student and not have multiple documents to flip through. Number four, I need to create student data sheets and upload or copy those links to those data sheets on Planbook or lessonplan.com. I think it's Planbook, y'all. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's been a hot minute since I signed up. Like, I think I signed up the very first week of June and I haven't touched it since. So I really need to get my brain refreshed back on where I'm going to do my lesson plans. Yay. Um, so after I look at the IEP to glances and know um, IEP goals and service hours, then I can create my schedule. I already printed out the master schedule for my school. It just got finalized. So I take the IEP service hours and the master schedule for the school, and that's where I start building out my schedule of when I will be working with students on their IEP goals. I need to finish my stage 3 observation assessment. So in my state, once you reach like stage 3 teacher, you can go through this modules of training through the State Department of Education to become an observer. So I did that last year for the first time, and I really enjoyed going into other teachers' classrooms and observing. And I didn't have to do any scores. As a stage 3 observer, you don't do any scores on their rubric, but you do give input as far as like strengths, refinements, and stuff like that. And you get to meet with each teacher. And it's just really an awesome learning experience to get to go into another educator's classroom and just see all the amazing things that they're doing. And then just scribing that observation session and comparing it to the rubric and the teacher educator rubric, and it's just a great learning experience. But I've done all the modules, but I haven't taken the final exam for the to be able to do that, so I still need to do that. Let's see. Next is enrolling in the Seesaw update training. I think I've already enrolled in the update training. I can't remember. Like I said, it's been a couple weeks since I've addressed anything regarding my classroom, but um, I think that training is only 2 hours. I use the Seesaw learning platform to deliver some instruction and some lessons to students, and so I do need to do my update training for that. Then I'll need to set up my Seesaw class for this school year. Um, I do want to, the next thing on my list is to research becoming a CAMI certified educator. CAMI is KAMI, and it's an online PDF editor. So it's actually brilliant, and it has saved me because I can take PDFs and edit them, meaning I can annotate a PDF. You do have to pay for this, but for me, it's worth it. For my students, it's worth it. Um, so I need to check into because I would eventually like to become a CAMI certified educator, meaning that I just have a little bit more professional development in using the CAMI PDF editor and can train teachers on that if I need to. Let's see. Next is our district has required trainings that we have to complete every year, and those were just released a couple days ago. So things like universal precautions and how to handle active shooter and bloodborne pathogens, um, all that stuff. So I need to get online and get all that done before I go back to work. They're not due till maybe end of September or October, but once the school year gets started, I've found that if I don't have that training done, it's a struggle to get it done on time. So I just want to get it done before my contract days begin so I can just check that off and be done with it. Um, Next is I wrote down to research ScreenPal quizzes and then also how I can connect ScreenPal videos with Canvas. So I use Screencast-O-Matic, which is now called ScreenPal, to record all of my videos because it can add captions, I can add images. It's just a fabulous like video creation tool. But I just learned that you can now create quizzes for your videos. And so while the video is playing, you can insert like quiz questions. And then I also learned that it can be integrated with LMS programs. And my district uses Canvas. So I need to do a little bit more PD on doing quizzes with ScreenPal and how to integrate those with my Canvas page. So I'm really excited about that opportunity. Hopefully, I can build that out a little bit this year. We'll see how overwhelmed I get at the beginning of the school year. Next is create a PD plan. So last year, I barely, like, I hit my 30 hours of PD, but I probably should have checked on my PD hours before it was due April 30th because I barely hit 30 hours. So this year I'm going to stay on top of that and make sure by like March that I have my PD done. I've already done one PD this summer on um, deafness and autism. So I need to make sure that I get that entered into the online PD platform that my district uses. And then I've also registered for PD I think it's like 10 hours of PD at least in January. So I need to make sure I get all of that entered in, make sure all that PD is on my school calendar so that I don't miss it and I hit my 30 hours. So I'm actually going to like intentionally plan out my PD so that I make sure I don't overlook anything or forget to enter anything and that I have my all my hours that I need. Um, Next, I need to look up my student classes in Aspen to see who their classroom teachers are. I don't know if that's posted yet, but it needs to be on my list of things to do. And then in a couple days, I have meeting with the ASL interpreters that work in my classroom with me. So I need to make sure that I have everything situated for that meeting in a couple days. So that's my to-do list as of right now. And I say like for me, 10 days out from the start of from the school year to have a to-do list, for me, that's an awesome accomplishment. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Tell me like things that you do before you go back to your classroom, what do you do to prepare? Because, like I said before, I struggle with organization and um, I struggle with deadlines because I'm not organized ahead of time with how to take care of things before the school year begins. So tell me in the comments or whatever, what do you do to prepare to go back into your classroom? What are some of the things you do to get your students ready? Or if you have any paraprofessionals or teaching assistants in your room, or how do you get your paperwork situated? What are the steps you take to plan out your schedule? I mean, I'm going to be taking these things step by step, and I'll probably be videoing about more things on this list as I complete them. But for now, 10 days left of summer break. That's my to-do list. So that's where I'm going to get started. Thanks, y'all, so much for giving me a morsel of your time, and I hope you have an awesome day.